everyone, this is Vanessa and I'm here today with Tambra. She's one of the models for the I Am Project and she's here to share a little bit about herself. So Tambra, tell me what word you chose for the I Am Project.
I chose the word resilient.
And can you tell us why that you chose that word?
Sure. Well, over the last few years I have been knocked down a few times, but always managed somehow to get back up. So
can you tell us a little bit about that? Would you mind sharing
Sure.
some of those experiences?
Sure. Well, probably the biggest blow came in April, I think, of 2014. My youngest daughter called me on the phone the day that my oldest daughter and I were going to get her final fitting for her wedding dress. She had a wedding in 6 weeks. And so she called and said we needed to get over there right away. And when we left, we got over there right away, and she explained to us that her boyfriend had her vehicle and had been pulled over and arrested for selling heroin in her vehicle, and he obviously was in jail. And she was charged with some misdemeanor things like letting him have her car and letting him sell in her house and things like that. And I guess just when she was telling us the story, it kind of suddenly dawned on me to ask her, and I said, well, honey, are you doing heroin? And she just kind of fell and said, yeah. So I immediately called my husband, and he came over, and my daughter was there, my older daughter was there, and my younger daughter has 3 children. The youngest was 11 months old, and he was little bitty, and then she had one that was almost 2, and then she had one that was in kindergarten. And so we just packed everybody up and took them to my house, and I got on the phone with my parents. My dad's a preacher, and he can fix anything. Right. So I called my dad, and we sort of as a family decided that my daughter and the baby would go to stay with my parents for a while, who were in their late 60s at the time.
You're working.
And I was at work, I was working, and my daughter, who was getting married in 6 weeks, kept the 2 older ones and made sure that they still had their routine of, going to preschool and kindergarten and things. And so my daughter had to detox cold turkey, and it was horrible. Her limbs began to draw up, her face changed, looked like she had had a stroke. Oh. And my dad would have to pull her limbs and rub them, and she just hurt all the time. And
it's a horrible experience.
Yeah, it really was. And she ended up, she stopped breathing twice. My dad had to resuscitate her twice. Fortunately, he is retired from Homeland Security, so he knew all that stuff. I don't know what would have happened if I'd been there. And so everything was, going pretty well. I mean, it was a lot of stress on everybody, but as soon as she got better and was able to function normally, she left my parents' house, left the baby there, and went right back to the guy who was already out of jail by then, and ended up staying with him for a few months and relapsed on heroin. Social services was involved, and she was required to drug test to try to get her children back.
Yeah.
And so in October, she failed a drug test and went to jail for 30 days, and then after the 30-day placement, they took her straight to a treatment center for 2 months.
Well, that's good. I guess they were trying to get her some help,
right,
rehabilitate her.
Right. And so she missed her birthday. She was in jail on her birthday. She was in jail on Thanksgiving. You know, we missed those holidays with her. She missed those with her kids. But she, at Christmas, she was at the treatment center, and she was doing so well that she got a 24-hour pass.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I drove down Christmas Eve morning and got her, and she got to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve night, Christmas morning with the children, and then I had to drive her straight back. It was like a 4-hour drive each way. But when, yeah, exactly. But when she, so she got out of that program and started, she lived in sort of a group home, kind of, where she worked, and she kind of did some things on her own, but she was still supervised.
Okay.
And so it was kind of halfway between treatment and being on your own. Graduated from that, graduated from drug court.
That's wonderful.
She was the first like misdemeanor person to ever be involved in drug court.
Oh, really?
Because usually it's like felonies.
Yeah.
And she graduated. I was like more proud than ever, you know. And she worked really hard. And this past February, she got her children back. And
That's wonderful.
you know, and so even though the whole family was knocked down, we've managed to get back up. She's doing really well now, and the wedding went on without a hitch.
Oh,
and
awesome.
she that daughter has a baby now, and so you know everything's wonderful there. And so just when we thought our lives were getting back to normal, this past Thanksgiving, 2 days before Thanksgiving, my husband of 27 years walked in and said, I haven't been in love with you in 17 years and I want a divorce. I was totally blindsided, had no idea. I mean, he thought I should have had an idea, but I guess I was blind or didn't want to know or didn't want to see or something.
Or in love.
Or in love.
Right.
And so I've spent this last year having to learn to be on my own and independent, and because you know I went straight from my parents' house to his house at 20. You know, I was 20 years old when we married.
Yeah.
You know,
grew up together.
Yeah, we did. And so that's been a challenge. I still feel like I fall down sometimes, but being resilient is being
Very strong.
being strong and independent and learning a new normal and learning to
Be you.
me and not somebody's wife, you know,
Somebody's
or
mom.
right, just being Tambra, just being who I am.
That's awesome. And I've learned a new self, your new self,
Yeah.
a new chapter in your life, and you're an amazing woman, so you're going to be all right.
Thank you. I don't always feel it, but you know,
Yeah,
as long as, you know, the good days outweigh the bad, I feel like I'm
that's right. And you have a lot of
Doing
supports.
okay.
And
I do. My parents are amazing. My girls are very supportive, you know. My grandbabies make everything better.
That's right.
You know.
That's perfect.
So
Well, thank you for sharing with us. Before we go, could you tell us something that you can do today that you maybe wouldn't do or couldn't do before you participated in the I Am Project?
well, this video for one thing, because I would never get on camera and talk. I didn't like to take pictures. You know, most of the pictures we had of our marriage were my husband and the girls,
Right.
or you know, something, because I was always the camera person.
Oh.
You know, tried not to ever. But when I came in that day and we started, you know, putting on pretty jewelry and just pretty boas and wraps and you know, and just everybody's so supportive, and they're women from every age, every size, just every background, and you know, we all have a story, and some of the stories are the same, and you know, some of them are very different, but we all have, right, we all have something to share, and if it can help one person, if one person gets helped from this project, the whole thing's been worth it.
I agree. Somebody out there could be going through the same things and hear your story and see how you've stayed strong and you're being independent and becoming the new you, and everything's working out for you. So they can see that some bad experience can lead to a great opportunity for
Right.
something new.
Right.
So
That's true.
thank you so much for being with me today and talking to me and sharing. And thank you, everyone. I am Vanessa, and I am proud.
And I am Tambra, and I am resilient.